Welcome to Might in Motion, where we help you navigate your personal and professional goals to manifest them into your deserved career and life path. Here at Might in Motion, we don't make excuses, we do the work and go above and beyond. The Might in Motion podcast brings you guests that will help stretch you out of your comfort zone and push you to improve your goals. Like, comment, and share. This is Might in Motion. I am being joined by Alana from Carbon. Hey, how are you, friend? Oh, wait, let me unmute you. That's my bad. That was on me. Yes, now you can talk.
Now I can talk freely. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing really, really well. So excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
To have Alana here, who is my push-up buddy. So for those of you that don't know, that's how we met. We were part of a challenge, right? And
yeah, we were.
We've never actually met in person. So
we have not met in person yet, which is crazy. But yeah, ever since the push-up challenge, we did our push-ups every day, pushed each other. That was like 30 days, right? That was our first.
Yes.
30 days.
Yeah. Which I cannot believe it. And that was almost 8 months ago. I don't even know anymore. Been a long time.
It was a while. It was a while ago.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the 10X rule.
Yeah, sure. So thank you for having me. First of all, this is great. So I'm Alana. Good to, I guess, virtually meet everybody. I own a company called Carbon in Providence, primarily digital marketing, social media. We work with a lot of brick and mortar clients in the New England area. I co-founded a second company this year, kind of in the same wheelhouse. So busy. But so busy, but and big, fan of 10X, hence what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, and you actually introduced me to 10X through a little book club action, and it was a really great read. And in fact, I'm writing my goals down every day as suggested. So let's get right into it, because you are the expert. So tell us a little bit more about the 10X rule.
10X. Okay, so 10X at its core is a discipline and a mindset. So it's really about setting your goals 10 times bigger, larger, higher than you think you're capable of achieving. And that's really, it's again, kind of the discipline and the action part of it, but it's also the mindset. So when you start to think bigger, your actions change. You find yourself doing different things. You're saying yes to things you may not have before, and you're saying no to things you might have said yes to before, that are kind of keeping you set back. So it's really, again, discipline, mindset, setting big goals, knowing you can achieve those goals. The only thing standing between you and achieving them is you. It's you, your actions, it's your mindset. So we definitely don't want to be our own roadblock. We keep the roadblocks away as we encounter them. So we don't ever want to be our own roadblock.
Yeah. So how long have you been like doing the 10X rule? I didn't know. I don't even know the answer to this question. This was unplanned. Taking you off script here.
It's a great question. I don't even think we haven't talked about this. I don't think so. A few years back, it was right like 2019, 2020. I was not very healthy. I wasn't working out much at all. I wasn't consuming any content. I wasn't thinking about my goals. I was kind of in this hamster wheel, which I think a lot of small business owners are. We start out, then we don't know how to scale. We get stuck in kind of the rat race. And I just got to a point where I was, overworked, overwhelmed, tired, and kind of drained. So it was kind of right at the start of COVID. Everything kind of calmed down. And that's kind of when I went, you know what, I got to do something here. And I started walking every day. Yeah. And I've pretty much walked every day since then. Rain, you see my post, rain, snow, it doesn't matter. 100 degrees doesn't matter. So and 10X was one of the first audiobooks I listened to when I started walking. And I had been following Grant Cardone, who kind of made the 10X rule famous, but it's been around for a bit. The concept has been around for a bit since like 2015 when he was on Periscope. So in typical Grant fashion, I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it was a streaming app, kind of like Instagram Live or this. And that was 2015. So I knew him, but I hadn't really followed him closely until 2020. So the 10X rule was honestly, it was pivotal in revamping everything. My health, my mindset, my systems, my workflows. It jump-started a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I always forget how much our lives are a little bit parallel, right? Like, in that, hey, you start off with just walking, and I did the same thing, 5 years ago. It was literally just trying to walk my neighborhood, and it's a journey. But when you set those goals, you set them bigger than yourself, right? You 10x them. Even if you don't get all the way there, you're going to make a heck of a lot of progress. So.
Sure.
So you talked about kind of the problem, solution, 4 degrees of action, and goal setting mistakes. Let's kind of dive into this a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it. So I love this quote. This sums it up too. So the 10x rule compels you to separate yourself from everyone else in the market. Now we can think of this as business, but you can also think of it as health and fitness or relationships. And you do that by doing what others refuse to do. So taking the action that others refuse to take. Stop thinking in terms of your basic needs and start aiming for abundance in all areas of life. So that's a huge thing to shift our mindset instead of thinking of, gosh, what do I need just to get by? Now you're thinking of abundance. And that's, again, having an amazing relationship with your person, your partner, your spouse, with your family, successful business. So this can be applied to all areas of life.
Yeah. I mean, that mindset of abundance is a big shift. It's positivity. And when you're shifting towards positive mindset, positive things come your way. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So sometimes we do have problems though. So
we do. Yeah. So there's a few problems here and then kind of solutions to those problems. And again, I think one of the most amazing things about the 10X kind of mentality, none of this is difficult. It's really just a shift. It's not difficult. The shift in your actions and the shift in your mindset, it's all doable, right? Nothing makes us any different than anybody else watching or anybody else out there. We don't have some special gene that other people don't have. So, when it comes to goal setting and kind of, overcoming some hurdles or things you're encountering, one is just diminishing the importance of success. I think we do that a lot. There's kind of those little sayings, success isn't everything. It's not, but at the same time, that kind of diminishes success. You might not say, well, family is not everything, or health and fitness isn't everything. Well, no, in addition to family, there's relationships, there's health and fitness, there's success. In addition to success, there's, health and fitness relationships. So it's kind of these little sayings that have diminished the importance of it. So is it everything? No. But it's important.
Right.
Goals are often set too low and then targets reduced when we don't hit them. So if our goals aren't big and exciting enough, usually that momentum and that energy doesn't sustain to reach them. I think this happens a lot, probably in definitely the business world, the corporate world, we kind of set these big goals and it's like, oh, that's it's too tight. We were too ambitious. Nope. You just kind of need to take more action, kind of placing your focus on the minimum required to survive. I think we mentioned that a little bit ago, versus thrive. And, when you get success, a lot of people can't sustain success. So you might get it, but then it's like, oh gosh, how do I keep it? I think that happens a lot too with health and fitness. We might go through something where we're getting great shape, but then sustaining it is difficult. And a lot of people either, gain their weight back or kind of fall back into old habits because you don't have the right mindset, the right systems, the right workflows set up.
Yeah. What I love about, because I've listened to some of Grant's podcasts and things like that as well. And I can't remember if he talked about it in this particular book, but your goals, those grand goals, those 10X goals change as well.
Sure.
Right. You don't want them to stay the same because you may have new problems that you need to go and solve. Right. Which I think is really, really important to know that it's okay to change those goals, maybe to something different as things in your life shift as well.
Absolutely. I think that sort of the definition of success, whether we think about it in terms of business or relationships or family or spiritual or whatever it might be, that's going to change as we grow, go through our path. So they will absolutely change, and kind of reviewing them, writing them down, carrying them with you every day, reviewing them, changing them. I have so many crossed out, pieces of paper and things scribbled out. And, so you definitely want to reevaluate them and change them.
Yep.
Totally normal.
And just as a reminder for those of you that are just now joining us, you can place questions in the comments and it should pop up on our side. So that is how we can make it as interactive as possible. So feel free to put any comments there that you may have. So we talked about problems. So what about solutions?
Yeah. So again, these are so simple. It's really just changing your mindset. So again, whatever area it's in, instead of diminishing the importance of success in that area, start realizing the importance of it. Don't say the little sayings to yourself to kind of make yourself feel better, or, it's important. At the end of the day, success in all these different areas that we need to kind of thrive are very important. So just from, a mindset perspective, just stop diminishing it, kind of
Yes.
down on the sayings, those cute little kind of sayings. Goal setting. So set them 10 times higher than you think you're capable of achieving. It's going to fuel you. You're going to get excited about them. And, you want to link them to a greater purpose too. A lot of people, they want to produce success for themselves, for their family, for themselves and their
Yes.
family. So that's another really important part, that it's bigger than just us.
Yes.
We want to kind of link it back to something. And a lot of people, I think, we kind of just go through our day and we're in the rat race, and we don't stop to think about that all the time, really what our purpose is.
Well, that's energy too, right?
For
So
sure.
I know with some of mine, I have financial targets, but then literally I have the financial target, and the very next line is I want to be the top, X donor at church and at these 5
Yeah,
charities, right? Because that whole financial freedom and generational wealth doesn't do you any good if you're not giving that back into
right.
the communities that you're a part of, to the causes that you're passionate about, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so important to have those purposes that are bigger than us, that we
Yes.
can link this stuff back to. And that helps too with the fueling. That will help
Yes.
fuel you too, because you know that by your work, you're helping all these other people improve their life. So
That's
it's huge and good for you. That's a great goal. That's a super good goal.
So what are some mistakes that people make, Elena?
Yeah. So goal setting, again, super important. I kind of like you were saying, I redo mine often. I carry them
Yep.
with me in my pocket. And I've washed these. I think I've mentioned this too. I've washed these so many times.
I have
So
my Powerless book. Big fan
very
of the
cool.
Powerless. And so
Yeah.
I literally write them. That's the first thing I write every morning, top of the sheet.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Yeah. It's good. It's, when they're on you in some way, whether like in your pocket or you have, that with you, even that can make a difference. You just, you
Yeah.
feel more connected to them. It's a reminder.
Yes.
So, yeah. So when we set goals, uh, often we're mistargeting. So
Mm-hmm.
it goes back to setting things that are too low. So we want to set goals that are really high, that we get excited about, and that will fuel us. It also goes back to that, when we set those big goals, we're going to start acting differently. We're going to say yes to different things, no to different things. And those really matter during your day.
Yeah.
All the little choices, all the little decisions you make, they matter. You look at the day and it's like, okay, cool. But you zoom out and you go a year, 5 years, all those little choices compound. So
Yes.
we want to set goals that are big, the 10x goal, bigger than we think we're capable of achieving. That's a huge one. We want to get excited about them. Otherwise, if they're too low, again, we usually end up sometimes not even hitting them.
Yes.
There's not enough there to fuel us. And then we reduce our targets.
Yeah.
Uh, Underestimating the amount really of effort required to achieve them, and the adversity we're going to face and things we're going to have to
Mhm.
overcome. I mean, you're going to hit roadblocks, you're going to hit some problems, some snags. So kind of going into these things, your new ventures, knowing that helps. I don't think it's going to be like every day is going to be perfect and I'm going to sail through it. There's going to be
Right.
stuff. It just comes with it. So just knowing that going into it, I think, again, it's mindset.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not being afraid of those things, knowing they're gonna come and you'll get over them. But again, just expecting them, because you're gonna again have to take that action. It's gonna require a different level of effort.
Yeah, it's interesting. The first thing that popped into my mind there was feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed when the things that we have set for ourselves actually start happening, right? And you have to create more space for that success, right? Because that overwhelming is because you're actually you're actually achieving things, right?
Yeah.
And that's layering, and it's layering on your responsibilities or um, your wins. And when you win, then people want you to win more, right? You end up with more responsibility, more things to go do, more goals to go accomplish because you are consistently winning, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of that too is just structuring your day, because
yes,
as you start to do these new things, it can become overwhelming. But
yes,
often you need to be mindful of, are you working out? Are you getting outside?
yeah,
What does your day look like? Because you need to do things that are going to just kind of bring you down too. They're going to
yeah,
ground you, that are going to give you joy, just being you. Quiet time, meditation, walking, audiobooks, could be anything. Just kind of sitting in silence, right? Like journaling. But
yeah,
those things are really important. And that also goes back to saying no to things. Instead, if you know you're
yes,
doing these new things and you're going to be achieving these new goals, you're probably not going to be going to every, party you're invited to or event
hmm,
you're invited to. You need whatever way you slice it, you're usually going to have more you time, more
yeah,
downtime. There'll be more
yeah.
alone time.
Yeah, that structure I think is really, really important. And you build those processes, like you say, in your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
It allows you to create more bandwidth. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's just so important to take care of you so you don't get to the point of being really overwhelmed.
Right.
There'll be pockets, again, it's not like I never get overwhelmed or you don't. I mean, it's part of it,
Right.
but it's definitely structuring your day. You want to set yourself up for success the best you can. Then when those little things happen and you get a little bit derailed, it's not as bad. It's not as
Right.
impactful,
Right.
because your whole day is very structured. So you just kind of go with it and you get right back on track,
Yeah, that's awesome.
you know?
All right, let's see. Let's do the slides back up here. We talk about so action, right? You have 4 degrees of action.
Yeah, so I taught, I one thing that really stuck with me from kind of the 10x method, and Grant, like 10x hat on today for this, is levels of action, right? So, and I talk a lot about massive action, which
Yes.
comes from 10x. So in there, in the book, he really talks about four degrees of action. Uh,
Hmm.
there's do nothing, right? So these are the people that have really given up on stuff. They've given up on their dreams and goals. They don't take any action. They don't move their life forward. They're just kind of good. They're not really
Yep.
doing anything.
Yep.
Uh, retreat, second level of action. And that usually happens when we've had a negative experience, negative feedback, fear of failure. There's been some rejection, some things happen where we go, no, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
not even going to attempt that. I'm going to retreat.
Yeah.
Uh, and we kind of justify in our head why. Oh, I was that didn't go well. They turned me down. I'm never going to try that again. You think of like authors, J.K. Rowling, or these famous authors that went to publisher after publisher after
Yeah.
publisher after publisher, or the actor that never gave up and went on thousands of auditions before they were found. So it's when you retreat, like who knows what you're missing out on? Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is too, if it's linked back to a bigger purpose, that can also help fuel you through those moments when you feel like, oh, I can't do it. The rejection's too much. Fear of failure is too much. If you link it back to a purpose other than, just you, something bigger than
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
that can fuel you through those moments. Normal level of action. And this is where most people are. So it's kind of in the day to day, not really doing anything too crazy, just kind of, going with the flow,
Hmm.
thinking everything's good until it's not.
Yeah.
Until it's not, until there's a problem at home, job loss, a car problem, your family, somebody in your family maybe didn't make the best choices and needs help. You
Yeah.
want to be there to help them. Inflation, right? So it's again, it's everything's okay until it's not.
Yeah.
So that, and again, that's kind of the majority of people. So then there's massive levels of action. There's massive levels of action. And this is where people will think you're crazy. This is the, me posting at, 5 a.m. in a snowstorm, walking outside, or
Yes.
in the rain, or even you, Mariana. I mean, you're always outside, you're always working out during 75 hard, right? Doesn't matter the weather, you got to get that outdoor workout in. And think kids too. This is really interesting. So when you have kids, right? Think about even when they were toddlers. There's so much energy, they're just going for it. They weren't like, oh gosh, I didn't stand up that first time, so I'm just not going to try again. It's stand up, fall, stand up, fall, stand up, fall. Kids have like massive energy. They take massive levels of action in everything they do. They just go all in. They don't worry about what people think. They're just focused on that moment. So it's harnessing a little bit of that. So it's kind of like getting in touch with a little bit of that energetic kid in you. And when you operate that level, you'll get the people that go, gosh, who would do that, but that tends to be when you put those things in place and you operate at a higher level and you do the things people don't want to do.
Yes.
It changes the game.
It does.
It absolutely changes the game. Jeff Bezos, right? Everyone thought he was nuts, selling books online. He's in his little tiny room. Look at the empire he's built. Years back, Toys R Us, some of the big box stores wouldn't have thought, no way is that little company ever going to impact my business. Well, guess what? So it's those massive Steve Jobs. It's like the massive levels of action.
Yes,
that's what kind of gets you to the next level. And it doesn't have to be, at an Amazon or Steve Jobs level. It could just be getting your health in check, putting a new system or routine in place to, again, get healthier or improve your relationship.
Yes.
Because
really these four things apply to all parts of your life, right? It's your career, it's your personal life, it's your relationships. Like you said, you can either do nothing and stay the same with your partner. You can retreat, you can self-sabotage, if you will, stay status quo because this is what my parents did, so it must be the same. Or you go all in, right? And you make big shifts. There's risk to that, but with big risks come big rewards, right? I love it. I love this. I love thinking about this in different aspects of my life because, a lot of times you can tie it to, your health. Like you said, it's easier to say, hey, here's some goalposts from a health perspective. Maybe not so easy to do that on a personal level. Maybe not so easy to do in your career. But if you can start tying those things to these degrees of action, that's huge. That's when you really can start driving change, which I love. I love this.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Yep. And, there's very little things you can do during the day to improve that, to reach those higher levels of action. You don't have to do it all in one day at all. It's the 1% improvement, which you talk about that a lot. You posted about that the other day. The 1% improvement, that matters. That matters a ton. 1% better every day versus 1% worse every day. There's a great book, Atomic Habits. There's a great chart where it kind of shows you where the 1% improvement every day will get you, and the 1%, kind of going the other direction. It's incredible. You don't have to do a ton during the day to slope up on that curve, and it's long game. It's long game. It's not tomorrow. It's consistency. It's discipline. Everything I talk about is nothing new. A lot of our topics that we talk about, it's the same stuff, right? It's consistency. It's discipline. We don't have to have some new crazy fangled thing every day. It's like, this works. It's consistency.
Consistent. Show up. Do the work.
For sure. Yep. It can be a little bit of a boring message at time, right? But it's it. That's it.
It's so true. It's so true. And I think we both have experienced that from a physical perspective, right? Like doing that little bit of work of walking every day. Well, that gets you to a point where you can run a little bit or jog a little bit or speed walk and then jog and then run, right? And you slowly build on that, right? So
even push-ups. When we started, I was like, I had never even done a correct push-up.
Either. Me either. Like, my original count was completely wrong because
Right.
and then we
Same.
we fixed it the second day. So you also have to have honesty, right?
We have honesty. We were like, oops, we're not doing this right. Course correct. Numbers plummeted. But it's like, it was really cool by the end. I'm like, wow. We
Yes.
went from being able to either do like 1 or 3. I forgot our number. They were low. It wasn't many.
It was low. Yes.
Yeah. And yours was like, you really got up there.
Yeah. Eventually.
Blew me out of the water. Yeah. You blew me out of the water, but you're sticking with it. But it's something like that. It's like every day we just did as many as we could do in those 2 minutes.
Yes.
And we saw the number go up. And that was just 30 days. So it just hits you. There's not much progress. And you're like, oh my God, I can do 5. Now I can do 10. Oh God, I just did 20. Wow.
Yes.
So it's amazing. Just
Mhm.
consistent actions.
So let's go back to the slide. So what do you think people can do today to make this happen?
Such simple stuff, right? And I think, a lot of these things, Mariana, are like, this is what we've done.
Yes.
This is what we've done. And this is what a lot of our friends that we've connected with in the last handful of months have done.
Yes.
So it goes back to that. Doesn't have to be this crazy big thing. It's just that 1%. So probably just like we both did, audit your day, really look at your day and where is your time being wasted? Oftentimes that's, scrolling social media endlessly. That's, Netflix and all this other stuff. And not to say, I mean, I'm like a Christmas movie junkie. I love my holiday movies. Okay. So I'm not saying
you've already started that. I saw that. You already started.
Yeah.
We haven't had Halloween yet, just so you know.
I know. Well, I do. I give that its day. I give Halloween its day. The rest of it's Christmas already. So just audit your day. Like, it doesn't mean you have to cut, everything out, but there's definitely, even me, I mean, I'm always like, I call it kind of wringing the water out of my day. There's always things to improve on. Yeah. So and Atomic Habits is a great book. So if anybody kind of wants help in that area, read Atomic Habits. It's amazing when it comes to creating systems and workflows for yourself. In the winter, right? It's super, I got to put all these layers on to work out. I layer everything in the order in which I have to put it on.
Yes.
Before. So when I get up at 5, and it's dark and it's cold and I'm tired, I go into the closet and I start with my socks. And the last thing I put on is like my hat. So I layer everything so I don't have to think about it. It's there. So when you look at your day and you create all those little systems, makes a huge difference. So step 1 is just audit your day and find out where you're either wasting time or where you could kind of improve on things, condense things, because that's going to now create more time for yourself. You're going to get more time back in your day to do stuff. Yep. Consume healthy content and move. So and I guess we probably should have healthy habits in here too. Yes. So like we read, what did we read? Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Oh, that was amazing.
Right?
That was amazing.
Blew my mind. So that was the first time I really realized that our mind, whether we think something, see something, our brain thinks it's happened.
Yes. So, not only your brain, like all your cells.
Yeah.
So like every single inch, not even inch, like getting down to like, this just microscopic parts of your being thinks it's happening again over and over and over again. And when you talk about auditing your day, so when I read that book and at the end, there's that 4-week meditation guidelines, right? The 4th week, it's, an hour and a half or something of sitting there and doing this meditation. And how am I going to do that? Well, I audited my day, right? Like I purposely made sure, okay, I'm going to get up earlier, or I'm going to not do this, or I'm not going to watch this TV show, so that I knew I had this time dedicated to go throughout that entire experience, right? Yeah, that's another great book. Sorry, you got me excited there for a second.
No, it's so good. It is a great book. And you're right. I mean, it was mind blowing, no pun intended, to realize that, because a lot of the content that society absorbs is not good. And it's not just watching it for fun. Our brain is thinking it's happening. So it's kind of switching that and starting to read more, listen to audiobooks, news off, kind of make sure what you're absorbing is healthy. That's going to, again, fuel you and move, right? So go on the walk, which might ramp up to the run, or go to the gym or something. And then also just be mindful, like what you're putting in your body too, right? All good, again, moderation, to have treats and, the glass of wine and all that, but just, it's choices. right? It's all the choices we make today determine tomorrow,
Yes.
and a year from now, and 5 years from now. Write down your goals. So we just talked about this. Write them down, keep them with you, revisit them often, change them as often as you need, update them, but set them big. Think bigger. Think bigger than you think
Mhm.
you're capable of achieving. You're going to start acting differently. You're going to make different choices during your day. And then just be a massive action taker, work towards
Yes.
these every day. I was in the office yesterday, it's on Labor Day, which is actually a great day to kind of work. I like
Yeah.
it. It's an awesome
Yeah.
day. So, and again, not to say everybody has to work every holiday and drive themselves nuts, but it's choices. It's just recognizing that you're going to have to do the things that other people won't want to do,
Yeah.
whether it's to improve
Yeah.
your relationship. We kind of went down the list. You have to start taking different action.
Yeah,
So
and it's not waiting for the 1st of January, right?
no,
Every day is your opportunity to start.
you got it.
You don't have to wait to some magical day on the calendar to be like, what are my goals? And
Right.
and Joe said, what about whiskey? Yes, whiskey, if that's your goal, do
I
it.
love it.
I'll tell you, like
So,
I had a margarita on Friday. Like, so nothing's necessarily off the table. But to
yeah.
your point, like, it's moderation,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. We gotta enjoy ourselves, right? Like, it's life. We have to have fun and, enjoy the pumpkin donut season, apple cider
Oh,
donuts
geez.
I had again. So good.
Any closing comments?
Thank you for having me. Honestly, I gotta tell you, I'm so inspired by you and everything you're doing. I honestly am. I am so grateful that I met you
Me
all those
too.
months
I'm
back,
so excited to get to meet you, and I
Yeah,
promise eventually I will make it to your neck of the woods.
yeah,
I
we'll do
will,
it.
and we
You know
will
what?
have a glass of whiskey or wine because I
We sure
I
will.
think I agree with Joe. I don't drink too much wine, but I'm down for a whiskey.
There you go. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, just thank you for having me on and being you and and doing these events and inspiring everybody. It's awesome. So,
Thank you for tuning into Might in Motion. If you learned something about motivation, momentum, mindfulness, or might, please like, comment, and share. Thank you.